Think about that. You need to be a necessity, not a luxury. So what does it take to be a necessity? You have to enhance people's lives. You have to make people want to continually come back to what you are doing. So whether that's making music, you have this thing, and we all know musicians, bass players, and everyone. We all know people like that who have this thing. You are compelled to go and listen to them. I'm a big fan of Wayne Shorter. I'll be listening to Wayne Shorter until I die. I'm compelled to go back and buy his albums and listen to his music and promote what he does to a certain extent, because I'll say, hey, I'm checking out this Wayne Shorter record and it's great. You should probably go do it too. And it's that word of mouth, the viral thing again. It's the word of mouth. And there's a concept called 1,000 true fans. You guys hip to this? And anyone hip to that, 1,000 true fans? And I wish I could give the guy credit right now because it's an awesome concept. I cannot remember. That's really bad. You just have to Google 1,000 true fans. But it basically says, if you have 1,000 really true fans and you can convince them to part with $100 every year, you have a six-figure income. Because last time I checked, 100 times 1,000 was 100 grand. And it's when you break it down, it's really quite simple. If you put out a record once a year and you get the person to pay for it, you make a T-shirt, you play a couple of concerts where they buy tickets, maybe you write an ebook, there are all these different things, and maybe you put out some instructional stuff. It's not that hard to get $100 out of someone. So if you build up 1,000 true fans, now by the true is that's the important word, because it's that fan that's really a die-hard fan. Gone are the days where you need to sell 1 million records to see $50 in return on your 0.2% after you've recouped your advance. That's all gone. But really, that was something that hit me. And that just, whether I or any of us or any of you actually attain that 1,000 true fans and make that kind of money, it's definitely something to have, a concept to have floating in your mind, to be like, okay, it's not as difficult as it seems. It's not just three of us sitting up here that you might think, oh, these are successful bass players to a certain extent and they have a name and this, that, and the other. It's not necessarily about that. It's definitely about the engagement and the companion thing. A girl outside, drummer, who I just met, who had been to Berkeley as well, I was at the Berkeley booth, asked me, Kristen, and I'm going to get her name right this time because I screwed it up earlier, asked me, so where would I start? Nobody knows who I am. What do I have to offer? And I was exactly the same way as her and Damien, what you were talking about with the YouTube videos. I was like, man, YouTube is flooded. That's what I used to think. What do I have to say that's original? Well, here's the thing. We all have one original thing to say, whether we like it or not, and that's our story. It's our most important selling point of anything we're going to do is our story. It's what we did, where we came from, what we've done, our personal life experiences, because not a single person in the world has had that same journey as you. And that's where we need to start. That's where you need to start. That's where I started under really shitty circumstances and realized a bunch of things about myself and made a conscious effort to change my business life, and I'm sitting where I am now because of it. I don't know whether you guys agree, disagree, or have had that moment, or...
Yeah, I agree. And you're a great example of one who makes technology work for them and is always on the cutting edge. I mean, just the streaming live, the Ustream of streaming concerts, and tying into the merch thing, putting out little things that your fans can buy.
Yes.
It's never been easier to record every gig and release them as digital-only downloads.
Yes.
I have friends in bands who they record every single night on the road, and at gig 2, they're selling the show from gig 1.
Absolutely. I do that all the time.
Yeah, and the email, it is really important. I was on a plane ride recently, and I just happened to sit next to this guy who has his company out in New York, but basically what he does for all the major labels is he creates email lists. And he's telling me that he believes that email list is more important than your Twitter account or Facebook.
I 100%
because
agree.
it freezes people to read this content that you're good. So it is very important. I haven't really got my voice straight on what I want to do in my email content because my stuff is so video based and audio based. I want, so it's like it's all in a design work in progress, like I said before. But I think that your voice has to come through first, and then once that happens.
And here's the solution for that. I think, which is what I wanted to say even before you said that, was reference. Make sure whatever you're putting in these emails is a reference that people have to go back to. You want them to keep that email in their inbox. You want them to keep going back to your content. And if they have to go back to that email, that email you got, dude, there was that link of that video that dude sent me. And like, you've sent me tons of stuff. I sent people, and I always have to go back, one stupid, crazy, fast pedal or whatever. I remember the email, and that's reference text. And the more reference text and stuff you can put in your email content, the better.